Hey, it's day three of marketing of the 100 days of marketing. And it's cold here. I know some of my East Coast friends are like laughing because I'm all bundled up, it's 60 degrees and I'm like ice cold, but it's just cold. So, so great day of games, huh? Great day of football games. Yesterday we talked about the other stuff, but let's chat today about building authority, right? Because yesterday we talked about my favorite marketing strategy, which is go get strategic partners, right? Go get people who already have your ideal customer to work with you. Hello, how cool is that, right? But how do you get them? How do you attract them? How do you get business to come to you? Because that is the essence of what marketing is, right? Getting business to come to you, not you knocking on doors, begging people to come to you. So I say all the time, I am not in the convincing business. Like, if you're for me, you know it. Right? Like, that I'm the one. Like, I don't have to go through a whole bunch of jumping in hoops. Why is that? Let's build the authority, right? And build the authority to you. So even with my renaissance, right, and coming back into the market after being away, working with private clients, working and building other businesses, being partners in other businesses, building them up, right? Just investing a ton in marketing and being the expert on staff. I learned a lot of things, and having the authority so that people come to you is truly the ideal. And so, how do you do that? So, let's talk about how you build the authority, because, of course, most of you haven't built $1 million telephone business, right? Because I was the only, right? Most of you haven't spent 30 years in marketing and written 5 books, right? So I get clients all the time that go, "Oh, Rochelle, it's easy for you. Oh, it's easy for you because you've written books, you've been on all these big podcasts. You're the money, honey, so you do all the TV segments and." Yeah, but that it wasn't always that way, right? So how did I create myself as the go-to person, right? So that when people go, "Hey, I need help," right? Why do they choose me? Okay. So number one, my mentor, Dan Kennedy, who is still alive and kicking, right? Uh, the very first thing that I learned from him was this 3 pieces of being the authority. And piece number one is, he said, you have to be somewhere, right? So you can't build authority inside of your business to your employees, right? Like, you have to be with movers and shakers. So where do I love to go if you want to be with movers and shakers? Should you go to chamber events and those kind? Yeah, but you should also go to the elevated of the chamber. So like tier 2, right? So be on committees, be on the business development committee. So people say, should I join the chamber? And you're like, well, of course you should. Tell me about your business, right? So now you get to tell them about your business, not the mixers, because the mixers are there for non-members. They let non-members come, right? You want to go to members only so that everybody has invested the same amount of money. I also love charity events, right? You're sitting at the table, everybody's got a common cause. You also know that everybody made an investment to be here. So that gets you out of the hukilau. So they're like, the hukilau. Yeah, the hukilau. So now you're not talking to unqualified people, because everybody there at the table either works for a company that can afford to send them there, or they own the company. Ding, 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 right? Now you have an in. Now you are at least meeting the right people that you want to. So be somewhere, get out of your business, go out and work on your business. Start talking about your business, right? The second thing is, he would say, be someone, right? So when you go, how do you introduce yourself? What do you say? How do you have people go, oh, wow, tell me more? That whole thing where, people do the little jingles and all that. Be very, very specific about who your ideal customer is and who you want to serve and what your business does. Yeah. So when I owned the telephone company, I felt, right? Like I had ads running and I was not the owner. I was Karen, Karen DePitco. So people would say, hey, what's your name? Oh, Karen. So even if you go out to dinner with me and they go, hey, can we have your name for the reservation? And it's like, oh, it's Karen. Mainly because, trying to explain Rochelle was just hard because they always fuck it up and spell it wrong, right? And then explaining to Moo, which is some of y'all that if you know me pre-UCLA days, so pre-college, that's what you called me. So it's like, oh, yeah, no. It's Karen, Karen, right? But I was always not being out front, right? Until the business got so big that I needed to make bigger deals. And when I needed to make bigger deals, I needed to represent who I was, right? Now, do people talk crazy to you? Absolutely. This guy sitting across the table, we had a spat over $1 million bill, right, that they sent us, and the bill was incorrect. And he says to me, as I was explaining, my CEO was there. So this is before I bought the company. And it was me and him. And he goes, hey, Rochelle, explain like what's going on, right? This is my vice president. She handles all of it. And so when I finished, the guy said, oh, you speak so well. And so my boss, yeah, he meant you speak so well for a little Black girl. My boss knew that I was going to go tiki tiki boom boom. Right? And so he grabs my leg and he's like, like, don't. We have him and we know that we're right. And we're going to get him to waive $1 million bill. So just kind of take that. So that was kind of the precursor of me just being Karen, right? Like, I'm not fixing to get into this drama with you because if you tell me I speak so well, I'm gonna say, well, what the fuck? I'm not supposed to speak well. I have college education. I went to UCLA. I'm the baddest chick on the planet. How am I supposed to speak? Yo, I don't know what y'all doing. Like what? Like what kind of? Obviously, you haven't been around educated African American women, and just so you know, that African American women are the most educated in this country. And if you don't know, now you know, right? So my boss knew that I was going to let him have it. So I try not to do that. But now, right, I let people know who I am. So when I introduce myself, they say, oh, if I'm in a setting, gosh, tell me about you. Tell me about your business. Well, thank you so much. For many years, I was the only female African-American public utility owner in the nation. I owned a telephone company in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I built it from 300,000 to 36 million. I lost it all after 9/11, and then I rebuilt back my $1 million business in about 5 months. And now, after selling it, now I teach entrepreneurs how to build their own $1 million business. And I've helped 12,147 do specifically that through my books and workshops and speaking and mentoring and coaching program. Is there anything I can help you with? All right. Guess what happens when I say that? They start to line up and go, oh my gosh, tell me, I want to build $1 million business. Great. Do you really want to build $1 million business or do you just want to own a $1 million business? Because those are two different things, right? Building it requires an investment. So you need to invest time, energy, and money in this thing to make sure that you got it right. So my client, the backyard guy, right? He was just the backyard guy. He does, construction, No, now he's the court king. So when they refer him, they say, oh my gosh, look at this space in the backyard. We just did this beautiful pool. You need to call the court king so that you can put in a custom basketball court in your backyard, right? Be somebody. So he hasn't written any books, the court king. He hasn't, he's owned the business for 18 years now, right? But he didn't when we first started working together. He just deemed himself the court king. So who are you in the marketplace? Who are you and why should they choose you and your business? So many people like to separate that out. Like, no, I'm just going to put the business up. But people buy from people. Hello? People buy from people and they want to see the face. Why do you think Tesla is so big? Because we all know of Elon Musk. Why do you think that the Dallas Mavericks are so big? Because we all see Mark Cuban. Why do we know the wines, right? With Gary Vee, right? People buy people. So if you haven't put a face on your business, that would be the number one thing you get to do tonight, right? For your homework is put a face on your business. So first thing is be somewhere, right? So when you show up somewhere, be somebody, right? Who are you? Oh, I just have this little company. Stop saying that shit, right? Oh, who am I? My name is blank and I help blank do blank. Yes. And so if you are we just got back from a wonderful little Mexican restaurant that my mother was pregnant with my brother. My brother will be 63. So my mother was pregnant with my brother when we started going here. So 64 years we've been going to the same little spot, right? The line is wrapped, like you can't get in it. Like everybody goes there for the burritos, right? I drove 22 miles to go over there to get the burrito. So the owner shows up. I own the best Mexican food in Southern California, and people drive over 22 miles to come and taste my fresh tortillas and my wonderful burritos. And I help hungry families enjoy their dinner. Hello, right? Are you not going, wait a minute, you got the best? Right? So are there a ton of Mexican restaurants here in Southern California? Oh my, there's 3 on every corner, right? But what makes him the best is the fact that he says, number one, he is the best, right? So dare them to say, no, you're not. And number 2, the fact that we've been open for 65 years. We've been open for 65 years and people drive far and wide. And during this holiday season, you may have to wait a little bit longer because kids are coming home. They're visiting their parents from college and they can't wait to have one of our burritos. Right? Like they don't need to hire me to do their marketing because, like I said, the line is always wrapped. But that's how I would introduce myself if I was him. So be somewhere, number 1, be somebody, number 2. So check yourself, look to see how are you introducing yourself? How do you tell the world about your product and service? Even if you've got a big company, even when I had 52 employees and we were doing $100 million, I made sure I was telling people we are the best of the telecom. We help small businesses because that was our target, right? We help lawyers be able to bill every single minute. So we had every law firm in Las Vegas because I had this little secret thing that after they dialed the long distance number, we programmed our switch to go dee, and they could put in a 2-digit code. So they assigned every one of their clients the 2-digit code so that when they dialed long distance, they could not only bill the long distance back to the client, which is how they get paid. Hello. And they could bill the time that they were on their phone to the best accuracy because now they had the proof because of how we provided their bills. Fun. But finding that thing that sets you apart helps you become the authority. And the last piece of this thing, because I said it was 3, right? So it's be somewhere, be somebody, and the last one is do something. Do something. Can't just sit at home and wait for them to come. If they build it, they will come. That's bullshit. Just because you are open, just because you have a website, just because you have a brick and mortar location, just because you have an LLC, just because the business is open doesn't mean that people know that you're there or coming. Yesterday I posted on my personal Facebook. So these are people who know me personally, right? That I own the telephone company and that people forget. And I've had people go, "What? You own a telephone company? Like, what are you talking about?" Now, if you look at my banners, right? If you've ever like done anything, it's everywhere. I thought it was everywhere. My story's been in USA Today, Entrepreneur, Smart Money. Like, what the hell? Right? And people still don't know. So you have to tell your story every day at nauseam until you just go, "Oh my gosh," right? But you can't do that. I still have to say it with a smile. I can say it from dead sleep. I can interweave it in conversations because that's the way that I attract business without having to, "Hi, please hire me. Please come to me. Please call me." I ain't doing that. Yes, and you shouldn't be. So do something, have an event, have, something planned so that now we can get the word out. Even if you sponsor a dadgum little league team, you have to do something. If you put flyers on cars, I don't care what it is. Even at one point when I was rebuilding the telephone company, it's not like people wanted to lend me money, right? After, I filed bankruptcy on $7 million. People are not lined up to say, "Hey, would you like this line of credit?" anymore. So I had to market my way out of it. I had to figure out how to get people to come to me, how to tell the world without having a bill, how to make sure that every single campaign that I did generated cash. You know how difficult that is. But what it did for me, because God is good all the time and nothing is wasted. Nothing is wasted. Right? Nothing is wasted. So because nothing is wasted, now I can look at a situation, I can look at marketing campaigns, I can look at them and go, "Yeah, no, don't do that, do this." Okay, you don't have a call to action, you don't have a strong headline, you don't have any of these things, right? So that we make sure that when we invest money, that we get 3, 5, 10 times, 100 times ROI back from when you invest the money, because you have to do something. So if you don't know the things to do, you definitely should grab the book, The $1 Million Equation. Yeah, it came out in 2012, but there's still chapter 9, I think, is where I talk about, I don't know one way to get 85 customers in all at one time, but I know 85 ways to get one. And every single month, I did all 85 ways in my telephone company and in my consulting business and for my clients to do, lots of them free, lots of them cost money too, but it's a way that now you are doing something. So when you are somewhere, people are talking about you, right? When you know how to introduce yourself and you're somebody, then people can talk about you. Now, people screw up my story. They say something about, she had utility. She was the first Black. Now, there was another Black couple that owned one, which is how I came up with, I was the only female because they did it together and it was just me. So I'm, all of that stuff, but they screw up the story, but they still love to tell people about my story because it is amazing. So you got to fix that story thing, right? And then the last thing is you got to do something. So if you are stuck with what should you do, who should you be, how do you present yourself as an authority to the world, then I would love to chat with you. We've got an event that is December 18th. It's $1 Million Day with Rochelle. If you're interested in coming at it, it's all virtual. We've got an event in Vegas, January 5th through the 7th, where you spend 3 days with me, baby. Imagine spending 3 days and we just work on creating your authority and where you should be, and then doing something and planning out your marketing campaigns that are all reviewed by me. Do you think it would look any different? Hell yeah, it would. Hell yeah, it would. So if you want any of that information, just comment below or send us a DM if you don't want anybody knowing. But it is my pleasure to help you out with those 100 days of marketing. Today is day 3. So let's go. Yeah. go, all right, I love you for free. Keep rocking it. Let's go change the world.